Question, think, act.
Well, National Debt Advisors warns that financially strained South Africans who borrow against expected tax refunds risk getting into deeper trouble. SARS auto assessments and two-pot retirement withdrawals could reduce, delay or eliminate those refunds due to tax liabilities. Now, joining me to discuss this further is debt advisor Samantha Moyana from National Debt Advisors. Well, this is quite interesting tax season, I would say, because there are a lot of questions regarding what these automatic assessments will, if anything, people will be getting back money, and what exactly will this process be looking like now, especially with the two-pot systems and those who've already withdrew money from their two-pot system. So how can we expect these auto assessments to go, and especially those who will be influenced by these new rules?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the opportunity. People should be aware that even though they've actually withdrawn from their two-pot system, they most likely won't 100%, for example, do get a refund because SARS has added that amount into their annual income. So they need just to be careful in terms of when they do their return, not to budget expecting that they will get something back. It's best that you first do your e-filing, hear from SARS if you have a refund that is due to you before you make any plans with that money.
So just to be clear, so those who have withdrew from their two-pot, will this now be a more negative outcome for them regarding their tax returns because they withdrew money there?
They shouldn't really 100% expect any money back. That's what consumers just need to be aware of. In terms of maybe refunds, maybe they can have some refunds due to other deductions that they've been having. But in terms of you relying to say that, okay, I actually withdrew from my two-pot system, I should be expecting a refund, that is something that people should not put at the back of their heads.
Yeah. Well, of course, when that SMS lands and people already start, spending the money that's not in their bank account if they are due a refund. So what's your warning to those people?
You know, it's really important for you as a consumer to first wait and be 100% sure that you will be getting money back from SARS before you budget or make plans with monies that you are not 100% sure. Because remember, even though there is a refund due to you, maybe it can delay and there could be maybe certain penalties that SARS is going to charge you in certain interest. So now that you have already made expenses on monies that you're not 100% sure if you'll be getting that amount, the full amount back, will really put you in a tougher position, because some people really maybe took out debt, went to borrow monies elsewhere with the hope that when I do get my tax return, I will just pay that money back.
Because ultimately, I mean, you also warned that this can trap people into a cycle of debt yet again. What is the, I think, single most important piece of advice then that you can give someone who of course attempts to borrow against their tax refund, apart from, the warnings that you do put in place there for people? I think people also use it to pay school fees and all of that. So is it a case of do not spend entirely, or is it just a case of knowing exactly how much to spend even before that tax refund is not in your bank account yet?
You know, what I can actually advise is that how about you wait for the money to be into your account and then you can spend it, instead of you going to make debt or because you'll be actually putting yourself in a worse position. So it's best that you wait for the money to be in order to allocate it to the right places, either to pay off your debt, for school fees, not to just go borrow money with the hope that you'll be paying it back with monies that you're not 100% sure if you'll be getting or not.
Let's talk about how many people you think, or from what you've researched so far, or the information that is out there, how many taxpayers will be auto-assessed this time around?
I'm not 100% sure of how many people will be auto-assessed, but every year each one actually needs to do their e-filing, and they also need to wait on SARS if whether they're going to be auto-assessed or not, or if they should be doing their e-filing manually.
And when your refund's lower than expected, what would you advise people to do? Do you think they should then go and ask and question the refund? Or do you think they also risk losing even more money, because there are also talks about people questioning their refund, saying it isn't the number that they expected? Is it then actually useful to actually go to SARS and claim for them to have a different look, so that possibly you can get more money back?
You know, if you're actually sure of how much money you're actually expecting from SARS, and then you receive less than what you have expected, you can always file a dispute. You have 100% right to do that. Or you can go to SARS and ask them, how did they come to this amount? Because when you were doing your calculation on your end, this is actually the amount that you are expected to get back in return. So people shouldn't be afraid to actually ask or take a step forward.
What should people do when they're not sure about if they will be automatically assessed? So when is that deadline for the auto assessments to then stop? And if you haven't been automatically assessed, what's the process look like for you then?
If you haven't been automated assessed, it's best that you open up your e-filing and try to do your tax return manually. If you are not equipped to do so, you can always maybe appoint a third party to do that for you, or go directly to SARS if they are actually allowing walk-ins, because sometimes they are able to assist consumers telephonically on how you can actually do your returns.
Yeah, you also mentioned earlier, and just to go back to that, because I think that is what makes things a bit tricky this time around. So you said the trend also worsened after the introduction of a two-pot payout, and the two-pot system. Why do you think this makes the system worse?
You know, because remember, early withdrawals also come with certain consequences and penalties. You know, so consumers would have expected that, okay, since I've actually withdrawn from my two-pot, maybe SARS will be paying me back. As I've mentioned earlier on, that money is actually calculated towards your annual income, you know. So you shouldn't really 100% bank on monies that you'll be receiving back to SARS. And you've been taxed because of the early withdrawal when you withdrew your two-pot system.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. That was Samantha Moyana from National Debt Advisors, just advising you on what to expect this time round with the automatic assessments from SARS, but also the two-pot system throwing another spanner in the wheels here this time around. So it's going to be one for you to analyze, and also not try and overspend, knowing that you are money owed by SARS, of course, with your tax returns, but of course, very importantly, not to overspend. And that's the message being carried across here from Samantha. Thank you so much for your time. On to this now. A mass shooting in West Bank, Malmesbury in the Western Cape has left 2 people dead and 7 others